Hey guys, Atu here. One of my students came in today absolutely tripping out over Marcin Guitar's new video. Is it Marcin Guitar? It's his fucking name. Marcin's new video, Is This Enough to Prove I'm Not Fake? This student is actually a huge fan of Marcin, and over time we've been working his playing up towards possibly tackling some of Marcin's songs. We've been playing a bunch of Mike Dawes and John Grom just to get a handle on those similar percussive guitar techniques, and I do put Marcin on a similar level, just with his own take on that kind of flamenco chord melody percussive guitar style playing. Now ironically, the problems began when we sat down to listen to the video, and we realized pretty quickly it is some of the most heavily edited and processed we've ever heard Marcin's playing. With multiple separate guitars recorded left and right, layers of melodic guitar parts happening at the same time, overlapping each other, all sorts of editing happening. Essentially, it's a music video, and whether or not he's actually playing one of those parts live, the video ends up proving nothing. In fact, it might send people the wrong way. Fortunately for my guitar student, I had one caveat to this, which is that we already know Marcin's guitar playing is not fake, thanks to a video he did a couple of years ago. And it's really the only way for a musician to prove that their playing is not fake, not through raw camera audio or playing for a live audience, which we know can both be faked pretty easily, but by playing in person for a trusted source. Enter this video by Rob Scallon. Rob has been around forever. He's a legend now in modern guitar playing. I mean, honestly, he's been at this YouTube thing longer than my student's been alive, which is crazy and makes me feel very old. In this video, we see Marcin absolutely blow Rob's mind with his guitar playing. It's raw, it's legitimate, and unless you think that maybe Rob is like some kind of payroll shill of Marcin's, I'm pretty sure he would call Marcin out. Let's compare this with a scenario we saw play out pretty recently with the guitarist Giacomo Tura, who unfortunately has kind of become the face of fake guitar playing. But here's the big difference. Giacomo's fakery couldn't be faked in person. And as soon as he started to do interviews, live streams, and performances with other industry veterans, his house of cards essentially came crashing down. And really, that's the only way to prove once and for all to anyone that your guitar playing is real. You can either go out to every single hater out there and play for them in person, or you can play in person for a trusted source, right? I'd also like to point out that this isn't even the first time we've seen something like this happen. Not too long ago, when Tim Henson was blowing through the stratosphere, there were thousands of people who said that his playing was fake, and that he was not a legitimate guitar player. All of that quickly died down when he did a string of interviews with industry vets like Rick Beato and live streams with guys like Herman Lee. So back to Marcin. Is a lot of what you hear from him on social media heavily edited, mimed, or re-recorded? Yeah, sure, maybe. But two things can be true at the same time. Yes, it's heavily edited, but not always. And he, as a guitar player, is still monstrously skilled. And absolutely, his chops are legitimate. Now, with all of that out of the way, the last thing I want to say is this. With the advent of social media, it's important to remember that there are essentially two audiences for every piece of music that you put out. There's the casual listener who honestly has no idea what they're listening to. They just want to have fun. They just want to be entertained and hopefully engage with a story of some kind. Then there's a music nerd, probably most of you guys, who has some idea of how the cake is baked and probably has much more discerning taste. And it's important to remember this, because for somebody like Marcin, one of those audiences vastly outweighs the other. And that's that. Enough talking about music. I've got a guitar that needs practicing, and I bet a lot of you guys do too. So get back to practice. I'll see you guys later.